because of slavery and segregation and so forth. But even within, let's say, the white community, right? The stories of kids who are growing up in Manhattan and the stories of kids who are growing up in Abilene, Texas, and the stories of a kid who's growing up in Montana, those stories no longer meet, partly because of the segment, the siloing of the media, the internet, entertainment. We occupy different worlds, and it becomes that much more difficult for us to hear each other, see each other. The thing I learned, first as an organizer and then as an elected official, as a politician, was when you start hearing people's stories, you always find a thread of your own story in somebody else. And the minute that recognition happens, that becomes the basis for a community.
But it does seem like something has changed so that it's become so extreme that we're not even allowing ourselves to get into a position where we can see that commonality. I've heard in the past you talk about...
Wait, what did I miss? Did he say some dumb shit?
It was that much more difficult for Abilene, Texas, and the stories of a kid who's growing up in Montana. Those stories no longer meet, partly because of the segment, the siloing of the media, the internet, entertainment. We occupy different worlds, and it becomes that much more difficult for us to hear each other, see each other. The thing I learned, first as an organizer and then as an elected official, as a politician, was when you start hearing people's stories, you always find a thread of your own story in somebody else. And the minute that recognition happens, that becomes the basis for a community.
But it does seem like something has changed so that it's become so extreme that we're not even allowing ourselves to get into a position where we can see that commonality. I've heard in the past you talk about when you were starting out in politics, you would go down to southern Illinois to very conservative districts.
Yeah, they give me a hearing.
Right.
Yeah. No, and I think that's changed. Part of it is the nationalization of media, the nationalization of politics. The fact is that you used to have a bunch of local newspapers, local TV stations. People weren't having these highly ideological debates, but they were kind of more focused on what's happening day to day. And part of it is also the structure of our economy and our communities. Look, it used to be that a high school, the average high school in America, the average public high school, you would have the banker's kid and the janitor's kid in the same school. And they'd interact, and their parents would be both going to the same football game and would have to know each other. And if it turned out that there was a talented kid of a janitor who also happened to be on the football team, the banker president might say, hey, why don't you come work at the bank here? Because he knew that person. Now we have more economic stratification and segregation. You combine that with racial stratification and the siloing of the media, so you don't have just Walter Cronkite delivering the news, but you have 1,000 different venues. All that has contributed to that sense that we don't have anything in common. And so much of our work.
Our polarization is because, like, we lack national cohesion. As a consequence of, like, what, rich people going to private schools and poor people going to public schools. I mean, there's truth to that. It is a relatively right-wing take, but there is some truth to what he's saying. Like, but ultimately, that's not the main problem. What he's talking about is one of the many issues here. But we never had that in America, LMAO. Yeah, I think Americans love doing this thing where they talk about a wonderful mythological America. It's not often that you hear a black person talk about that, specifically a black president, the first black president. It's wild because that mythologized America is the 60s, right? And like most black people, or all black people, know that wasn't a mythologized America for the black people, okay? So it's always like, I hear white people say shit like that, make America great again, or whatever the fuck. And that's understandable from their worldview, because that's what they've been raised as, and that's what they've been brought up in. So I don't know why Obama is making that assessment or saying something like, back in the day, there was schools that had the janitor's child and also the banker's child, and they all went to the same school. It's like, well, okay, as long as the janitor wasn't fucking black, you know what I mean? So I guess that's what he's talking about. But so I went to a boarding school that had poor people like myself and children of actual billionaires. The rich people were still pieces of shit almost 90% of the time. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's like kind of weird for him to have this, but it's just like neoliberal word salad for the most part.
Is going to have to involve not just policy, but it's also how do we create institutions and occasions in which we can come together and have a conversation.
Dude, oh God, this is what liberals fucking jerk off to. Like, yeah, unity, dude, unity. Unity is about like getting together with like psychopathic neo-Nazi Republicans who literally think Obama is from Kenya and Michelle is a man, okay, like transphobic neo-Nazis, and liberals who don't think those things, and have those people get together and be able to fucking enjoy some hot dogs on 4th of July. That's what America's about. And it's like, that's not solving anything. Okay? You're not like, that's nothing. That you're not solving anything. This is just conflict avoidance for people with a profound amount of privilege. And obviously a lot of people that watch the media and consume the media religiously like this on the liberal end of the spectrum already have these thoughts and find this to be appealing because they're already in a position of profound privilege. Okay? That's it. You're not addressing the problems. Like, the issue for most Americans, like Americans living in West Virginia, let's talk about the Appalachian Mountains, right? The issue for motherfuckers is that, like, they can't get their teeth fixed. They can't get insulin shots for their diabetes. Okay? They have no job prospects. They have nothing going on in their lives. Okay? It's terrible. Like, what are we going to do about those people? Like, it's not like bringing them side by side with like the liberal from New York, the mid-level marketing manager, so they can all consume hot dogs together. What? It's sad that you were discrediting Obama, someone with 100% more authority and knowledge than you do. I'm a political commentator, you fucking idiot. Not all conservatives are racist hicks, just like not all liberals are mentally ill psychotics. Anyway, like the real issue for the people like that is economic prosperity, opportunities, programs and jobs, subsidies and high-paying jobs to create high-paying jobs for them in sectors that are growing, like renewable energy, for example. Like, if that guy goes and has a fucking hamburger with a mid-level marketing manager from Brooklyn, like, we're not solving anything. We're not actually, that's just like some fucking liberal pipe dream for people who are already privileged, and like the worst part of their existence in the American political spectrum is being faced with how damaging income inequality actually is. Like, it's all about conflict avoidance for them. So of course Obama appeals to them in this way. You know what I mean? Because like they don't have a lot of problems. They're working tirelessly, endlessly to make sure that they don't have these problems, right? And they are very successful and very fortunate to not have those sorts of problems. So it's not about like addressing the material inequalities, the material problems that are the root cause of so many of this, so much of this violence, nationalist rhetoric, Nazism, whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Instead of addressing any of those actual issues, they just want to like not think about it. That's why people are so happy with Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is like, you know, taking care of shit. They don't have to think about it. You feel me? Do you realize the hypocrisy? Why can you sit here and talk as an extreme leftist with the opposite you can without getting canceled? Because my worldview doesn't revolve around murdering people. I say all the time, when I want Medicare for all, which means even Nazis get fucking healthcare for free. Whereas the other side is like, I don't want black people to coexist with white people. So obviously those two ideologies on the extreme ends of the spectrum are fucking a little different from one another, you idiot. That's why. Extreme left, dumbass. Anyway, one thing that unites the entire nation, of course, is the top of the hour ad breaks. And everybody knows, whether you are a leftist, a liberal, whatever the fuck you are, you can avoid those ads by subscribing with a Twitch Prime for free, motherfucker. Okay? You already know that. You already know. There's no reason to talk about it any further. So if you'd like to avoid those ads now, because the 1 minute ad break is coming, and also be able to send me like links and shit, subscribe right now with your Twitch Prime. Don't let it go to waste. So here's the fucking 1 minute ad break now. This is literally just the dinner of Jay-Z. I mean, what happened to the now chat spam?
In Promised Land, you write, our democracy seems to be teetering on the brink of a crisis. Since you wrote that, there was the attack on the Capitol. Yes. You got the big lie being pushed continually by not only the former president, but Republicans in Congress.
Right.
Are we still just teetering on the brink, or are we in crisis?
Well, I think we have to worry when one of our major political parties is willing to embrace a way of thinking about our democracy that would be unrecognizable and unacceptable even 5 years ago or a day.
Wrong. False. You're a fucking liar and a bitch. Okay? Sorry, Obama, you are being a major bitch right now. Okay? 5 years ago, the Republican Party absolutely 100% without a fucking shred of a doubt was operating on the same fucking belief structure, which is why Jonathan Swan of Axios, which is a center-right publication, did a better job addressing Liz Cheney's fucking comments where she's like, what Donald Trump did was the big lie and it was horrible, with not separating Liz Cheney's comments from the actions of the Republican Party as a whole, where she was unable to answer why she says Donald Trump's lying about the election is really fucking bad, but then turn around and like Republicans and Republican legislatures are advocating to literally follow on Donald Trump's dream of making it harder for most people to vote. So this notion of the big lie that's like so different from the rest of the Republican Party is a fucking big lie in and of itself. Obama is lying. Obama is literally lying to you like a Weasley little liar. Okay. This notion of the Republican Party of 5 years ago was any different than the Republican Party now, as far as like casting doubt on the legitimacy of the American elections, is so psychotic and so fucking false. And it blows my goddamn mind. Every Republican relies on creating this false narrative that elections are stolen by Democrats and illegal immigrants. You have to literally not meet a single Republican ever in your entire life to believe this, okay? To take this at face value and be like, yeah, Republicans don't believe this idea that like all elections are stolen by Democrats with illegal voters. Like, you literally have to be a fucking idiot who's never met another Republican person ever in their entire lives. They do that. They say that all the time. The Republican attitude around voting and limiting who gets to vote is the prevailing conservative narrative. The 3/5 rule revolved around this from the foundation of American society, that dictated that the Senate was not even democratically elected, that control was kept in the hands of white male landowners, all the way to segregation and Jim Crow laws that stopped black people from voting, stopped women from voting in the past, in the pre-suffrage movement era. all the way to now with like voter IDs and like additional restrictions and shutting down of like DMVs immediately in black and brown neighborhoods, making it as hard as possible for poor people to vote, not having a fucking national holiday or not having a national ID for everyone to be able to use for free to go out and vote, and then implementing voter ID laws. Like, this is all the same exact fucking concept. And Republicans don't even hide that, okay? They don't hide the truth behind why they take such actions. The only way that you can advocate truthfully or honestly for making it harder, making it as hard as possible for people to vote, for poor people to vote specifically, is if you lie about how everyone is just, faking it. Everyone is like, Democrats are actually winning elections in this nefarious fake way. So for Barack Obama to turn around and be like, this is so different, the big lie is so different, is a fucking lie in and of itself. Okay? He knows this. He knows this. He's being a fucking asshole, dude. He knows this. And he's just like, he is trying to sedate you. Okay? He is trying to sedate the liberal masses here with this take. I'm sorry. There's no other way to look at it beyond that. Okay? He's manufacturing consent. Now, having said that, if you don't believe me, I mean, what's that fucking Christian dude who I used to show you all the time? Like, the father of like the American Christian movement. That guy, that Republican dude who like at the Republican conference, not Joel Osteen, who straight up says like, we don't want people to vote. We don't want people to vote. Not Lee Atwater. No, not Kenneth Copeland. No, none of those things. No, old school. It's like a video from the 80s that I've shown you guys a bunch of times. I forget. This is it. Paul Weyrich. There it is. Here you go. Thank you for this video. I use this video all the time, but I forgot his name for a second. Let's take a look. Paul Weyrich, the founding father of the conservative movement, addressed a seminal religious right gathering held in Dallas in the fall of 1980. Let's hear what he had to say.
Now, many of our Christians have what I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
Jerry Falwell and Ronald Reagan were also at this gathering, by the way. Weyrich then went on to co-found the Heritage Foundation, the Moral Majority, and the Free Congress Foundation, the ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council. These are like nefarious lobbying organizations and incredibly powerful in this country, and continues to host weekly strategy sessions for right-wing leaders. So this is the attitude. This has always been the prevailing attitude, okay? We need to stop people from voting. We need to stop poor people from voting. We need to stop black and brown people from voting because their interests do not align with ours. That's it. Like, and these motherfuckers have been openly stating this. Like, so in order for you to turn around and be like, oh, I don't understand. Like, this is so different. Like, Donald Trump is so different than the rest of the Republican Party. You have to be a complete delusional baboon to not see that. Like, you have to be a complete moron to not recognize that what Trump is doing is the extension, is the continuation, the logical continuation of what every other Republican has done in perpetuity, what every other conservative has done in forever. Okay, this is a fundamental plank of conservative election strategies, is to limit who can vote. Anyway.
Decade ago. When you look at some of the laws that are being passed at the state legislative level, where legislators are basically saying, we're going to take away the certification of election processes from civil servants, secretaries of state, people who are just counting ballots, and we're going to put it in the hands of partisan legislatures who may or may not decide that a state's electoral votes.
That's the Republican Party. This is the dream. Republicans have dreamed of being able to advocate for this sort of shit openly. And the very same Republicans who were like, yeah, Donald Trump is kind of crazy. I can't believe that January 6th happened, huh? That's wild. That then turned around and were like, yeah, we should stop prosecuting that immediately. Like, not a single fucking Republican wants to push for that, like, bipartisan committee on the January 6th insurrection now. Like most of the key Republicans are completely against that now. I wonder why. I wonder what happened.
Should go to one person or another. And when that's all done against the backdrop of large numbers of Republicans having been convinced wrongly that there was something fishy about the last election, we've got a problem. And this is part of the reason why
the Democratic Party historically pushed for disenfranchisement or making it harder to vote. What do you mean, in the primaries?
On voting rights.
Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about like the fucking racist Dixiecrats in the South? Because if you consider that to be like still an extension of the modern Democratic Party right now, you are fucking delusional. When motherfuckers say historically the Democratic Party did this, they want to hide the truth from you. Okay? They want to hide that like the Southern strategy did not exist. They want to act like currently the motherfuckers wearing the Confederate flags when they rush to the White House, waving the Confederate flags, are not Republicans themselves, but still Democratic voters. You are delusional. I don't know what to tell you.
It's at a national level is important. This is why I think conversations about some of the institutional and structural barriers to our democracy working better, like the elimination of the filibuster or the end to partisan gerrymandering, is important. But this is why it is also important for us to figure out how do we start once again being able to tell a common story about where this country goes. And that is not just the job of politicians, although I think elected officials have an important role. That's where the media is going to have to play an important role. That is where companies have to play an important role. All of us as citizens have to recognize that the path towards an undemocratic America is not going to happen in just one bang. It happens in a series of steps. And when you look at what's happened in places like Hungary and in Poland, that obviously did not have the same traditions, democratic traditions that we did. They weren't as deeply rooted. And yet, as recently as 10 years ago, were functioning democracies, and now essentially have become
democracy doesn't always
authoritarian.
die in a military coup.
Yes.
Democracy dies at the ballot box.
That's exactly right. And Vladimir Putin gets elected with a majority of Russian voters. But none of us would claim that that's the kind of democracy that we want.
Let's talk about
Jesus Christ, dude. Okay. That was perfect lib shit, dude. Tie it up and end it on fucking Vladimir Putin. Now, ProPublica, but ProPublica if you are Amy Goodman, it came out with a new report. By the end of 2018, they found secret IRS files, a trove of never-before-seen records, reveal how the wealthy avoid taxes. By the end of 2018, the 25 richest Americans were worth $1.1 trillion, as much as the combined wealth of the 14.3 million ordinary wage earners. Okay? The 2018 personal federal tax bill for the 25 richest was $1.9 billion. The bill for the wage earners, on the other hand, was $143 billion. Incredible stuff. ProPublica obtained leaked IRS documents proving that billionaires barely pay income taxes. Leaks of this sort are very rare. Really hope this story doesn't get lost in the news cycle, says Kenny Clips. In 2007, Jeff Bezos, then a multi-billionaire and now the world's richest man, did not pay a penny in federal income taxes. He achieved the feat again in 2011. 2018, Tesla founder Elon Musk, the second richest person in the world, paid no federal income taxes. Now, part of the reason is because all of their fucking assets are all of their wealth is tied in assets. So the way to hit these motherfuckers is by taxing capital gains or property taxes, taxing corporations, this way. Something that the Biden administration does not want to do, by the way, for the record. Income taxes are not a way that you can tax the wealthy because they don't report straight income. Isn't that because they don't really have income? They just get good lines of credit from banks. Why pay taxes when you have middle class as slaves for taxes? They all pay lower capital gains taxes when they sell their shares, need a higher cap gains tax that can't be avoided through deferments. I agree. That's part of the reason why they have no income and paid no income taxes at all. Michael Bloomberg managed to do the same in recent years. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn did it twice. George Soros paid no federal income tax 3 years in a row. ProPublica has obtained a vast trove of Internal Revenue Service data on the tax returns of thousands of the nation's wealthiest people, covering more than 15 years. The data provides an unprecedented look into the financial lives of America's titans, including Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Rupert Murdoch, and Mark Zuckerberg. It shows not just their income and taxes, but also their investments, stock trades, gambling winnings, and even the results of audits. Taken together, it demolishes a cornerstone myth of the American tax system, that everyone pays their fair share and the richest Americans pay the most. The IRS records show that the wealthiest can, perfectly legally, pay income taxes that are only a tiny fraction of the hundreds of millions, if not billions, their fortunes grow each year. Many Americans live paycheck to paycheck, amassing little wealth and paying the federal government a percentage of their incomes that rises if they earn more. In recent years, the median American household earned about $70,000 annually and paid 14% of federal taxes. The highest income tax rate, 37%, kicked in this year for couples on earnings above $628,300. The confidential tax records obtained by ProPublica show that the ultra rich effectively sidestep the system. That's why, like, having a top marginal tax rate for income is still not going to end this problem. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. America's billionaires avail themselves to tax avoidance strategies beyond the reach of ordinary people. Their wealth derives from the skyrocketing value of their assets like stock and property. Those gains are not defined by U.S. laws as taxable income unless and until the billionaires sell. To capture the financial reality of the richest Americans, ProPublica undertook an analysis that has never been done before. We compared how much taxes the 25 richest Americans paid each year to how much Forbes estimated their wealth grew in that same time period. Oh my fucking God. The true tax rate for Warren Buffett was 0.10% from 2014 to 2019. For you, it was 14%. For Jeff Bezos, it was 0.98%. For Michael Bloomberg, it was 1.30%. For Elon Musk, it was 3.27%. No one among the 25 wealthiest avoided as much tax as Buffett, the grandfatherly centibillionaire. That's perhaps surprising given his public stance on as an advocate for higher tax for the rich. According to Forbes, his richest rose 24.3. Yeah, keep getting mad at fucking TikTok Bernie Sanders supporters, dude. Keep getting mad at that, boys. Keep getting mad at Nico Lulz, dude. But don't get mad at these guys. They have philanthropies, so and also there are jobs creators. You fucking simpleton peasants, you. Oh yeah, dude. I can't believe. Oh man, rich leftists, dude. What the fuck? We really gotta stop these rich leftist boys. Woo! I can't believe my 12 favorite streamers decided to move to Texas to avoid income tax, to avoid state taxes. That's what you sound like when you get fucking mad at like dumbass Twitch streamers fucking moving to Texas and shit. Anyway. More than one thing can be bad, OMG. Yeah, dude, you're right. No, these two are, yeah, except you get mad at that other thing way more. Rich leftists are ruining my life. White people sad. Anyway, do you not dislike tax avoidance? I think that people that avoid state taxes, that move to fucking Texas, still end up paying for it by buying a $2 million fucking apartment in the middle of Dallas and paying 1.9% in property taxes instead of 0.75% that they would every single fucking year on an overvalued, inflated ass property for the rest of their fucking lives. Okay? So like, oh wow, she really avoided 10% of her income. She avoided 10% of her income this year and maybe next year. Who knows how many years she's going to be able to avoid an additional 10% in state taxes when she's going to fucking pay more in property taxes for the rest of her fucking life for that inflated ass property. Okay? Jesus Christ. ultimately, it's ironic to get mad at fucking streamers because none of them are engaging in like tax avoidance in the same way that these dudes are, okay? Also, this person is literally from Texas. It's so fucking annoying. I know it's a meme, but actually stop defending streamers. It makes you look really bad. You're a fucking moron if you think a streamer from Texas moving back to fucking Texas is like the end-all be-all of tax avoidance. You dumb fucks. Jesus Christ. You stupid fuck. I can't believe a streamer from Texas decided to move back to Texas. Same with fucking soda popping. Wow, that's fucked up, dude. Both are bad. She's being a hypocrite. You were just trying to simp. She has a boyfriend. Dude, you are so fucking pathetic. That's a ban. Simping for Nico lol. Motherfucker, I spent the entire video shitting on her for deciding to move to a $2 million apartment when she could have fucking moved into a $2 million castle. I'm not simping for her at all. I think it's just like really fucking stupid whenever dumb motherfuckers are like, this is... if rich people are leaving California because they want to pay less taxes. Like, that's literally a made-up fucking right-wing take. You are only looking at idiotic... you're only looking at the world from your idiotic standpoint. It was the 12 streamers that you saw that were like, I'm leaving California because I want to save 10% on taxes. Okay? Triggered by the truth? No, the overwhelming majority of people that leave the state of California leave because they can't afford property. Okay? They can't fucking afford a property in California. It's just too expensive. Shut up. Shut up. Anyway. And they say this at the time when like rich people made so much money in California that California fucking had a surplus in its budget for the first time in like decades, okay? So you're literally like, you can't be more wrong. Like, you literally cannot be more wrong physically if you fucking tried. Like, because of how much the wealthy paid in taxes in California, when motherfucking wealthy people are leaving the state, like, right? They're running away, right? Like, no, it's unaffordable for poor people to live here, which is why they're leaving, so they can fucking afford rent or purchasing a property somewhere else. That's why they leave the state. At a time when the state has a fucking $53 billion surplus directly as a consequence of wealthy people paying a lot more in taxes this year because of how much money they fucking made. But yeah, no, go off, Kings. Go off, Kings. It's middle class people leaving the state. Anyway, 1 million plus income is not middle class. Oh, is that so? Is that why the overwhelming majority of people leaving California were making 70 grand then? That's so crazy, dude. I didn't realize it was all the people leaving California were making $1 million plus. No, it's the 12 streamers that left the state of California that were making $1 million plus. And your worldview exclusively revolves on what the fuck Twitch streamers do. People get fucking so heated about streamers because that's all you know. You spend all your goddamn time on the internet, on Twitch. That's it. You always seem to easily... You always forget about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is one guy. That's so dumb, dude. Joe Rogan is one guy. People are like, what about XQC? What about, Sykkuno going to fucking Nevada? Like, okay... You're not like, that's not how data works, boys. That's not how this works. You have to look at like who's leaving the state and what the reasons are for why they're leaving the state. God damn, dude. What the fuck? I'm losing my mind at this. Does chat care if I move to Texas next year because work wants me to move? I don't even. Anyway. In the coming months, ProPublica will use the IRS data we have obtained to explore in detail how the ultra-wealthy avoid taxes, exploit loopholes, and escape scrutiny from federal auditors. That works out, by the way. Oh, shit. No one in the among 25 wealthiest avoided tax as much as tax avoidance buffet. According to Forbes, his riches rose $24.3 billion between 2014 and 2018. Over those years, the data shows Buffett reportedly paid $23.7 million in taxes. That's 0.1%, dude. Holy fucking shit, dude. When you're poor, when you're middle class, every single year, you're just dropping like 30% of your entire earnings. Like easily. Or maybe less, but still. Like everything you own is your net worth. Like you don't have any assets. So your income is your entire net worth, your entire existence on this planet. All that shit goes straight up into the government, okay? And that's why you lose your shit about fucking taxes. Meanwhile, the wealthiest motherfuckers are not even giving 0.1%, barely giving 0.1% of their fucking earnings back to the government. But yeah, keep fucking pissing, keep getting mad about like, I don't know, keep getting mad about fucking the Twitch streamers or some shit. Ultimately, it's ironic you're a libtard. Actually, stop accepting a tax-dodging liberal. Chatting on smart mofos. Right-wing geniuses takes to lose 10% of taxes because people elsewhere buy houses on houses. Talk. What? Dude, what is this guy? Did you have an aneurysm while writing that, dude? What the fuck? The heir to Warren Buffett's core went to my high school. Nice. Okay. I think he had a stroke while he was writing that out. He got so horny to be like, I'm gonna fucking get. He's like, I'm gonna get him this time, and then fucking just had an aneurysm midway through and just kept typing. It's mostly the optics of the whole thing, and you hardcore defending it is why people are trying to stun like you. I mean, I think it's dumb as fuck that like someone decided to fucking move to Texas. And everyone is immediately like, they're doing it for tax avoidance. I live in California because I like California, okay? If I were to ever leave the state, it wouldn't be because I want to avoid taxes, but because I want to be able to fucking purchase a normal property, okay? That's it. For most people, like some people say they're leaving California because they fucking avoid taxes. Who gives a shit? Ultimately, the real reason why most people leave California is because they can't afford to purchase a property or rent in a center, in a like urban area, an urban environment. Most people are the argument here, though. That's why I get mad. I get mad when fucking people think like everyone's leaving California because of like a few Twitch streamers who said like they're leaving because of tax avoidance. So stupid. Anyway. Let's keep going. Seriously tired of you defending your rich streamer buddies as a socialist. Just say you're a rad lib and move on. Never gonna sub Puggo. Fucking idiot, dude. Yeah, good one, dude. Oh, nice, dude. You baited me, dude. Anyway. Understand it more with streamers because literally your career can end anytime you need to save that money. Yeah. Anyway. But few specifics about individual tax ever emerge in public. So we know that already. Okay. So consider Bezos 2007, one of the years he paid zero in federal income taxes. Amazon stock more than doubled. Bezos' fortune leapt 3.8 billion according to Forbes, whose wealth estimates are widely cited. How did a person enjoying that sort of wealth explosion end up paying no income tax? I wonder how. Because they have unlimited funds. Like they literally have unlimited funds because they have unlimited assets. They could just open up a line of credit like that. Here, give me $7 billion, please. In that year, Bezos, who filed his taxes jointly with his then wife Mackenzie Scott, reported a paltry for him $46 million in income, largely from the interest and dividend payments on outside investments. He was able to offset every penny he earned with losses from side investments and various deductions like interest expenses on debts and the vague catch-all category of other expenses. In 2001, a year in which his wealth held roughly steady at $18 billion, bad year for Bezos, boys. Bezos filed a tax return reporting money he lost. His income that year was more than offset by investment losses. What's more, because according to the tax law, he made so little, he even claimed and received a $4,000 tax credit for his children. Oh my God, dude. He got a tax credit for his kids, dude. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. That's awesome. He deserves it. You guys are fucking idiots, okay? By the way, this is hilarious that, like, all the libs who were mad at Donald Trump will not say a fucking single word about this. Remember how liberals were like, Donald Trump paid $75,000 in federal income taxes? What the fuck? I thought he was a billionaire. I thought he was a billionaire. Maybe what these Democrats were saying is like, how did he not avoid all of the taxes? You know, like these motherfuckers did. $750. Sorry, not $775,000. That's true. $750. That's great, dude. That's fucking great. I love this. I love this across the board. Incredible, incredible. His tax avoidance is even more striking if you examine 2006 to 2018, a period for which ProPublica has complete data. Bezos' wealth increased by $127 billion, according to Forbes, but then he reported a total of 6.5 in income. The 1.4 billion he paid in personal federal taxes is a massive number, yet it amounts to a 1.1% true tax rate on the rise of his fortune. Oof. Hey man, it's Bezos was doing this because he moved to Texas, guys. Wow, I'm That's how he did this, dude. It's like zero head takes, dude. Anyway, wealth and income is different though, right? Like if he never sold any investment, does he have to report it? Doesn't have to report it until he sells it all, that is? Yeah, but you don't need to sell it ever. Unless, and he did recently, he sold a bunch of stock to purchase like $150 million mansion, okay? Like that. He needed like cash, right? But he doesn't need to for the most part because he could just like take a line of credit or some shit. Was it a yacht? I thought it was $150 million mansion or some shit. So the problem is, and I've mentioned this already, it's not that his income is non-taxable because that's not where, like, it doesn't make financial sense to try to tax the income of billionaires because their wealth generation stems from their assets. Rich people make their money work for them. That's why everybody gets mad at me for not using my money, for having my money just sit in a fucking checking account. That's why all of my analyst friends lose their fucking minds. They're like, you're such an idiot. And they're right, by the way. They're 100% correct. Rich people do not make money off of their labor. They make money off of the money that they already have. This is what capitalism is about. It's called capital gains. Your pre-existing capital that you have accumulated, all the wealth that you've accumulated, ends up making more money year over year for you than your fucking dad and your granddad and yourself could never, ever imagine. That's how it works. Okay? Anyway. Could you systematically dismantle my father, financial advisor's Pepega take on this topic? Wait, what? Your dad is saying because if my $70 investment instead of growing to 140 goes down to 30, now I've had a capital loss of 40 for which I get no tax benefit. And also, we're not talking about $70, no wish to be taxed, but $70 billion absolutely. Then the government takes revenue for gains. It doesn't give it back for losses. That's why there should be zero capital gains tax? What the fuck? They explain why they published the article. Your dad is saying that... Wait, I'm confused. Is your dad saying that there should be zero capital gains tax as though you can't deduct your losses? Like, that makes no sense. Why is he lying to you? Your dad is literally lying to you as a financial advisor. There is no shot he does not understand this concept. Like, there already is a system in place. I cannot believe your financial advisor father is literally lying to you to advocate for a zero cap gains tax because your losses are deductible. That's wild. Anyway, let's keep going. Anyway. My friend said it doesn't matter with billionaires don't pay taxes. The government mismanages the money anyway. What do I say back to them? Okay. It's not a secret that the government mismanages your money. But no matter what happens, okay? No matter what happens, at least some of that money still goes to incredibly important programs. That's the way I see it. Whenever people are like, why don't you get mad about, like, you know, paying higher taxes? Like, your taxes are just going to bomb Palestine and shit like that. And it's like, okay, but they're also building roads and public education and paying teachers, okay? And that is an absolute fucking necessity. Like, that is an absolute fucking necessity. So if the problem is that, you know, taxes are being mismanaged, and people are paying your taxes, or your tax dollars fund American imperialism and shit like that, then try to change that part of the process. Instead of being like, we shouldn't pay any fucking taxes. Because that's stupid as fuck. That all comes from your state tax, buddy. I don't have a problem with that. That's why I say I don't give a shit about paying taxes in the state of California. Let's just disregard how they spend our tax money then. Great idea. Is that what I said? Have I advocated for the government to fucking keep wasting our resources on endless imperialist endeavors? Is that, when have I ever said that? Jesus Christ, 45K Andy on a slow news day? It's not a slow news day. I haven't covered the news in a while. That's probably why. Anyway. What? You've been ignoring my question for a week? I've been spamming it? What is your stupid question? Please cover Nina Turner's race against Chantel Brown. You wield so much power with this massive audience. Ask them to volunteer if they live in the district. Okay. All right, we'll do that. But, like, I'm in the middle of covering something else right now. Like, okay. Dude, everybody has their own pet project that they want me to, like, use all my endless power on, okay? We did it. Just, like, chill. You were so ready to get pissed. No, it's actually a good story, or like a good way to use my influence, to wield my influence. So I'm not gonna get upset at that. Compare Bezos' financial picture to a typical American household. Okay, Jeff Bezos' wealth grown by $127 billion over this time frame, as we talked about, and he only paid $1.4 billion in total taxes. The typical American household, on the other hand, paid a total of taxes to $142,000 during this point, and their wealth grew by $89,000. During the recession, many people lost value in their homes. These are still people with like, this is the average household that still has like some assets too. We're not even talking about like pure income, because we're talking about 2008. So a lot of people that owned homes, their property values went down. So if the only asset that you own is your fucking home and it tanks, its value tanks, you all of a sudden have lost you've lost everything. You've lost your only only appreciating asset. Anyway, why have you never talked about the farmer protests in India? I have. You're wrong. I have talked about it. The revelations provided by the IRS data come at a crucial moment. Wealth inequality has become one of the defining issues of our age. The president and Congress are considering the most ambitious tax increases in decades on those with high incomes. But the American tax conversation has been dominated by debate over incremental changes, such as whether the top tax rate should be 39.6% rather than 37%. So this shit is fucking annoying for two reasons. One, because adding like the top marginal tax rate increase should occur regardless. I'm fully on board with it, and it should be even higher than this. But if you don't actually fucking increase the capital gains tax, if you don't actually try to tax wealth as best as you possibly can in the most ethical way possible, then you're not going to reach these dudes, okay? Like, you're going to still get billions of dollars in return. But the reality is, like, it's not the fucking income that you need to be taxing. The income you'll tax, if you increase it, you'll tax people like me, okay? And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of people like me. Most people in my position immediately fucking put their money back into the stock market and make money off of their money, which I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with being taxed more. I advocate for that. But if you want to solve this problem, you can't just increase the top marginal tax rate, because most wealthy people don't make money off of their labor, but instead, like, you know what this does? This taxes people like me, and it taxes athletes, it taxes Twitch streamers, it taxes football players, it taxes basketball players, it taxes baseball players, it taxes doctors, it taxes people that make the largest sum of their like overall revenue off of their personal labor. You're taxing high earners, but you're not necessarily tackling the problem of income inequality. You are making it a little bit better, because these people should be taxed higher, including myself, straight up. However, the real issue is still in assets. The real issue is still in capital gains. Do you get it? Don't you have to pay an income tax on your paycheck before you buy assets anyway, though? Yes. For people that make their lion's share of revenue every year from their own labor, still pay an income tax, and then on top of that, they would get taxed. I disagree that people should not pay taxes. What? I never said that. That is a reasonable take if the representative government reviews what they want. The government is supposed to serve the people, not the other way around. If people lower tax payment by 10%, policies will be changed. How is armed revolt okay in case of a rogue government and not non-payment of taxes? What? This is incredible. Literally changing from millionaires and billionaires to just billionaires? Wait, what? Who's changing? Oh no, not the athletes. You're a fucking idiot, dude. If you're missing the point, you're missing the point I'm trying to make. I think millionaires should be taxed higher. But if you think that taxing millionaires when it's so easy for them to like it's easier for them to fucking avoid taxes by stashing it in capital, you're literally advocating for a dumber system. You are not recognizing the problem. The main problem is straight up not taxing assets and capital gains. That's always the problem. Anyway. Oh, no, not the athletes. This is incredible. I understand what you're trying to say. I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say if you think that what I'm saying is like simply increasing the top marginal tax rate, which is still good, is going to alleviate the actual problems, or is going to eliminate the actual problems, which stem from the way that wealth and the way that capital gains are not taxed in this country. That's my take. Okay? Anyway. The tax data was provided to ProPublica after we published a series of articles scrutinizing the IRS. The articles exposed how years of budget cuts have hobbled the agency's ability to enforce the law and how the largest corporations and the rich have benefited from the IRS's weakness. They also showed that people in poor regions are now more likely to be audited than those in affluent areas. We talked about this before already. ProPublica is not disclosing how it obtained the data, which was given to us in raw form with no conditions or conclusions. ProPublica reporters spent months processing and analyzing the material to transform it into a usable database. We then verify the information by comparing elements of it with dozens of already public tax details in court documents, politicians' financial disclosures, and news stories, as well as vetting it by individuals whose tax information is contained in the trove. Those who responded, including Buffet, Bloomberg, and Icon, all said they paid the taxes they owed. A spokesman for Soros said in a statement, between 2016 and 2018, George Soros lost money on his investments. Therefore, he did not owe federal income taxes in those years. Mr. Soros has long supported higher tax for wealthy Americans. Personal and corporate representatives of Bezos declined to receive detailed questions about the matter. ProPublica attempted to reach Scott through her divorce attorney, a personal representative, and family members. She did not respond. Must respond to an initial query with a lone punctuation mark, question mark. After we sent detailed questions to him, he did not reply. It's Buffett. I know. I like to say buffet. Motherfucker just threw a question mark out there. Why do you hate retail workers? Good question. I don't know. I hate them, dude. Buffet. Fox Economist says minorities and young people aren't worth $15 an hour. Ooh, spicy. Anyway, I just wanted to showcase that for you guys for a second, and of course the only way to solve this is by trying to tax wealth as best as you possibly can. But good luck getting that across. All right, let's hear what Fox News' Art Laffer had to say.
McDonald's CEO Kemczynski, he's noting that artificial intelligence technology has 85% accuracy with filling orders, with workers having to step in for approximately 1 in 5 orders. It's going to be a big leap, he says, to go from 10 restaurants to 14,000 restaurants. But there is no doubt they are working in that direction, Art.
Yeah, for those people, Sandra, who are coming into the labor force brand fresh, not old-timers who've been around for a while, the poor, the minorities, the disenfranchised, those with less education, young people who haven't had the job experience, these people aren't worth $15 an hour in most cases. And so, therefore, when you have a $15 an hour minimum wage, they don't get that first job. They don't get the requisite skills to earn above.
Jesus Christ, bro. My man straight said these people don't deserve $15 an hour. What about you, bitch? How much money you think you deserve, motherfucker? It's not even about deserve, by the way. Like, this is about like how much profits that they generate for the corporations they work for. But not only that, but also like the minimum amount of money should still be a living wage if you're working. They're doing automation regardless of minimum wage. Yeah.
Of the minimum wage, and after a few years they become unemployable, and after becoming unemployable they become hostile. And that what you'll find happening is this technology has created an underclass of people who are really just bid out of the labor market and will remain out of the labor market for most of their lives. And this, I think, is just a tragedy.
It's just a tragedy, but also they're not worth the $15. But also at the same time, like, also at the same time, dude, wait, hold on. What the fuck what the fuck? Fuck. I just had like